I mean, that literally seems like proof that the big publishers don't care about male readers anymore. Welcome back to the Men's Adventure Fiction Podcast. We are back to discuss any and everything. Who knows what the day will take us, but we have a super loose structure this week because we want to highlight some exciting things coming up for Veritas, and then we just want to talk about how sick Men's Adventure Fiction is, which is what we're here for every single week. But how are you doing this morning, brother? How's it going for you?
Good. Speaking of Men's Adventure Fiction, I think right now I'm really trying to lock on a new show or something to get into during the last of winter, because we're here kind of the final stretches of being stuck inside before the adventurers are let loose again to go out and explore in the spring. So I don't know. Maverick is one I'm circling, as you know. Nice. But maybe as we get closer to spring, I throw on Magnum again because the summer vibes and everything. Nice. So I don't know, man. I'm looking for... I have a lot of stuff I'm very much so excited for in March, like Young Sherlock, for example. I always see that. Dude. That sounds sick.
That is exciting.
How to Make a Killing looks sick. That comes out like the end of February. There's a lot of cool stuff on
Crime 101.
Crime 101, another one. Great on the horizon. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie comes out this week, I think.
Whoa.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming out.
Yeah. Just gotta fight your way through.
Yeah, I gotta get through this week, and then we'll start the trickle in the good stuff.
Dude, another one for the list of things to put on the list is Mannix. Apparently it's streaming on, I think, Pluto TV, someone said. Because I just posted the Mannix one. Let me see where he said it was streaming, because we should do a Mannix episode eventually. Mannix episode. And I think everybody would love it. Let's see. He said...
Dude, I'm thinking of rewatching that Hondo Jacked Guy show like we were talking about, too. So I'll bring this up.
I forgot.
Did you look into this?
No, I didn't. Streaming on Pluto TV. So I don't know how many are streaming, but if it's just even one season, dude, you'll be hooked because it's so stinking good.
All right.
Mannix keeps coming up, dude.
Yeah, Mannix, well-dressed man, as your thing as it explained. You know, he has a sick outfit for that guy. And I've never seen a thing of that, I don't think, at all. So it'll be new and fresh. Yancey Derringer, speaking of that kind of stuff, you've shown me, is one I got to get on if I can find it somewhere.
Right. Yeah,
but this Hondo TV show is Ralph Teeger. I don't know if you know that guy, but he's freaking shredded, bro.
Let me look at this guy.
It has one season of Ralph Teeger's Hondo. And I was telling Nathaniel that, my dad will, DVR it at his house. And I've seen a few episodes there. But I haven't ever sat through and watched the full season. But I loved what I saw. There was shirtless boxing matches and fist fights with Hondo.
That looks great, dude.
Kind of had a nuclear family situation going on. It was really cool. I really liked it.
It is loosely based on the Louis L'Amour book, then.
I'd imagine.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Well, that's crazy. That's super cool. Speaking of, so to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying with trying to figure out a new thing to go through and work through. I do not. So you have Half Price Books is the actual name of the store, or is it just a random? Yeah. Okay, we don't have a Half Price Books anywhere near me, but we have this place called the Paperback Exchange, and it's essentially just half price books. I was going through there and nothing had price tags on it. When I got up there, I was like, "How much does this cost?" And she looked and she found the sale price that it sells for from the regular store. Here, let me see. Which I'm sure, this one says $5.99, $4.99. So then she just it's just half of that. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I would have picked out a lot more stuff." Yeah. Why aren't you guys just branded half price books? Apparently that's a thing. So I found a bunch of cool stuff that I'm excited for the Dress Like an Adventurer series. But something that I was not expecting to get that you told me about was Fair Blows the Wind by Louis L'Amour. Yeah. And I've been having a really hard time. I'm a huge audiobook guy, but I've been having such a hard time finding the time with writing, with working on videos, with all the different stuff I have on my plate to actually read. But I picked this one up, and it's let me see, I think it's in one of these books. this is one of my favorite parts about the mass market paperback that they don't talk about enough is the opening page. There is nothing but a little sick excerpt from the story. So it's like
Yeah,
the
you do
first.
that, dude.
Well, I do that because it's so like quintessential to the mass market paperback,
Yeah,
and
super sick.
the reason that it's quintessential and I feel like necessary is because of what happened yesterday. I'm looking at this. There's the back cover thing where it gives you like a little story. I skipped that. I opened it up just to see how much it cost to see if it was written on the inside, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I want to buy this. I'm not sure I can sit down and find time to read a book. But dude, sure enough, the first thing I see is the sick start to a pirate sword fight on a boat in first person, written by Louis L'Amour about, I think it's
Had to get
a chantry guy or a talent, I can't remember. And I immediately was like reading it. I couldn't stop reading it. Like I didn't want to read it. I was not there to read. My wife and my daughters were sitting in the car waiting for me to get out, and I was like, this is so sick. And so I literally bought it because of that. So that just goes to show you that like, dude, the opening thing you find on a book is crucial because you may like the cover will grab you and then you're like, oh, this looks kind of cool. You look at the back and you're like, oh, that's not too bad. And then you go to open it and see like, is this part of a series? Whatever. Next thing you know, dude, you're reading one of the most interesting parts of the book because if it's written, if they do it right, they grab you with just the ultimate pull you in thing. So I was super pumped to figure that out and see it. And then that one, I think I'm going to try and start actually reading because, I don't know. I do all sorts of stuff on my computer while I'm watching TV with my wife. So why wouldn't I just start reading a book while I'm watching TV?
right.
Like if I'm already diverting my attention, I might as well do it with something wholesome and
Yeah.
rejuvenating. So I don't know.
Dude, that is a great point. There's some times where I'm like, all right, let me check out this first page. And if the first page is like a slow burner or that has nothing to do with anything, you're like, I don't know. And then I might have given up some books that were super sick eventually, but I was like, that was buns. I don't like that. And then just walked away. So
Yeah,
if you have a
dude.
sick opener like that, that's sweet.
That is
And
sweet.
on the topic of reading,
Uh-huh.
dude, that's where like last year, as you know, because of Veritas reading, I didn't really read as much as I ever had in my life. Like I read probably less than I ever had. Well, less than I ever had since I started reading. Less than I ever had since I started because there was definitely ginormous chunks of my life where I was like, reading's for nerds. I don't do that. But so
Hilarious. What a massive change you've made.
I know.
Well done.
It was that First Blood, dude. Reading First Blood after
Dude,
in undergraduate school.
they had a bunch of David Morrell stuff, and I was like, no First Blood though. So I couldn't.
They have what is it called? Oh, I can't remember. There's one where it's like two best friends end up hunting each other in the woods, and it is the coolest freaking book, and I want to reread it so bad because I haven't read it since like I was right after First Blood.
Yeah.
Because I like rented it from it was like one of the only times I went to the library in my life.
Yeah, dude. I was just thinking about the library yesterday. Like, they don't have. That's kind of the same problem that I was running into this bookstore. They had terrible organization, so you were like fighting for your life trying to find the paperbacks. And the only paperbacks that they had, like specifically set off in paperbacks, were war and cowboy stuff. And then I finally found like the executioner stuff, but they had all the lame covers. But all of those to say, dude, the library very rarely has sick stuff in it, which I think we were on a big tangent from what you were talking about earlier about reading.
What I was going to get to is essentially this year, I'm like allowing myself to have the lowest book count of all time, and I'm going to be okay with that. But I want to read the books so well. You know what I mean? Like Benedict Shafter, I'm taking such time with it, but I'm writing on every page. I've got my notebook with me. I'm going deep dive. So I'm like changing up how I'm reading, unless it's the Veritas reading or, Shel Scott or something that I'm listening to. If I'm reading a book, because I know I'm going to do less of it this year, I'm trying to do it really like no skimming pages, no trying to just blast through it as fast as I can.
Right.
I'm just like
super deep.
I know it's going to be low and slow, so I'm going to keep it low and slow. And I've been enjoying it, dude, because Benedict Shafter, like that, there's so much that could be extrapolated. I really do think I'm definitely going to make it a book that my son has to read, I think, and my daughter. But like, it's like almost required reading to be a good comprehensive human, comprehensive man. There's so much
That's
in
really
there
cool.
about just good stuff about living and responsibility and community. Just good stuff. I love
Yeah,
it.
I'll have to read it, and we'll do an episode on it. Or the way you're cooking on that bad boy, maybe we'll do 4 or 5 episodes on
Yeah,
it. A deep dive into old Benny.
I'll finish it December. Just I finally finished.
Yeah, we'll finish it by December, and every 2027 podcast episode will be about Bendigo. It's a genius.
You could do
Um,
a college course on it. I guarantee it.
yeah, that's
I
awesome,
guarantee it,
dude.
dude. For
That's
sure.
so cool. But speaking of westerns that are releasing soon, dude, we've got some
Um,
very exciting stuff coming up with Gunpoint by Jeff Pintabona coming out. I guess a week from recording, or a day before, the Tuesday after this goes live, which is
yeah.
super exciting. It brings us back into the world of the Killers from Yellow Rock with Mort Totten, Jerry Dixon, and the unfolding saga that started in Yellow Rock. And what's really cool is he intentionally made it a little different than Yellow Rock so that it didn't have as much, I guess, like, so that you weren't just getting a derivative story. And he's a fantastic author. We may be talking with him on air soon, so I don't want to steal anything that he has to say. But yeah, Jeff
Right.
can do no wrong, dude. He's so stinking good.
Tune into that conversation because he's got one of the best minds on fiction. That's
Oh yeah,
just like Terrence, like one of my favorite people to just talk to about genres and looking deeper into the like subtext of stories, and he's got all of that. And I told him I really want him to write a nonfiction about the Western genre because the dude just has a really deep understanding of it. And so it's interesting to see how that plays out in his stories. And to Nathaniel's point, this one is like maybe like a darker version, like a darker
yeah, a
tone
little
to
bit.
to the other one. And the way he's thinks about this genre is all coming out on the page. So just like Louis, you're getting more substance, you're getting
Yeah,
more literary bend to it rather than it just being like pure fun Western. But he
right,
doesn't ever let it get to the point where it's like, oh, this is just literary and I'm bored. Like it's all as actiony
yeah.
as you could ever want it
The
and as
guy knows
badass
what
as
to
you could ever
do.
want it. Yeah, it's like it is the type of manly storytelling that needs to be carried on, and that was like left behind with Louis, and now he's back with Jeff Pintabone. So I'm pumped that these stories are coming out, and we have another announcement that we'll talk about maybe now or maybe later. But like, I'm
Well,
super
we'll
hyped for the future of
thread it
Jeff,
in.
dude.
Yeah, me too. It's very, very exciting stuff. There's something that you said that struck something in my mind, but it's gone. It's out of here. So we can move
Forget
on. Do you want to go to next thing from Jeff or next thing in release order from Veritas? What do you think?
your pick, dealer.
All right, let's go to next thing in release order. We'll work through it all. So you got that to look forward to. What's super sweet about the stuff though with Gunpoint is that Jeff already has, I think, 3 other books published with us: Longwood Trail, Killers from Yellow Rock, and then the horror anthology. So,
Dude's prolific.
right, this is a great opportunity to now pick up Killers from Yellow Rock, pick up Gunpoint, check them out, read them, and then read the other 2 books that he's wrote because the guy is fantastic. What it was you were talking about a nonfiction thing. I think he has an essay on noir and western and the crossover on his Substack. So go check that out if you're looking for any kind of answers to the questions, or should I read something from Jeff? Go check out his Substack. He has 1 or 2 things on the Veritas or the P3 Substack. So check out his stuff, read it, you'll enjoy it. You're good to go. He also is in the Western Tales. He has some, I think it's Gunfight at Gila Gulch, which is a super sick story. So very excited about that. With that in mind, though, coming out, was it a week after that, dude?
Yeah, the next week
Is Odyssey of Fire, a Noah Redford adventure, dude. So sick.
Baby Noah, dude. Let's go.
Baby Noah. Very, very cool. Looking forward to that one a lot. I'm pumped that you've created such a phenomenal story that really kind of dives into this world more. And like we talked about before, and we'll talk about again, he is a younger version, and he's maybe not as refined. He's still learning stuff, but it's just so entertaining. I love it. It's fantastic.
This is kind of unrelated, but I want to bring it up while we're in the unstructure. With no red for being 17 in this one, and like as people who read it, 17-year-olds really don't know much about like who they are or what they want or what, he's just getting blown by the wind for a little bit of the time. And it's reminding me now of Vision Quest, because my Odyssey of Fire is very much like a boxing story, just like Vision Quest is like a wrestling story. And it reminds me of in Vision Quest, dude, where he's like, the opening is all about how he's going to turn 18. He wants to do something with his life, and he's got this Vision Quest thing, and he's so passionate about like winning state championship or whatever. And then he meets the girl halfway through the movie, and he's like, at a certain point in the movie, he's like, I don't think I need to wrestle. I don't really care about that. And it's like, so 17-year-old, dude. That is so 17-year-old to just be like, nah, actually, I don't want to do that. I think at some point he's like, I want to be a physician in space. And you're like, all right, you're 17 years old. That's cool. But of course, he does ultimately have the big wrestling match and stuff with who is the bad guy in that? Shoot? His name's like Shoot, Brian Shoot or something. He's sick. Huge. The weight class discrepancy is unreal, dude. They were not the same weight. That is hilarious to think that they were. But it's a great film, but it reminded me of that, because it's like Noah is like, he leaves his home to be like, I'm gonna go kick my brother's ass, dude. I got some bones to pick with this boy. And then he gets there and he's like, well, I don't want to spoil the story, but like things just go, and then he's like, he's in a whole different. It felt like when I was rereading it, it felt like two different books almost, because he like comes at it with his first trajectory, like this is where we're going, and then he goes, oh, actually we're going over here. All right.
Right.
Which
I think
it's funny.
There's something to be said for that. When you've got a compelling enough character, which Noah is, you can meander till the cows come home, because people aren't necessarily there for the story, or maybe more so the story is defined by the character, where you're like going through this, reading it, and you're like, what's this guy doing? But you're like, well, why am I still wanting to read? And that's what I think is when you've got something really good on your hands, because we talked about it before. Specifically, especially for me, I'm a character reader. My favorite stories are all about series characters. So to have someone who's an engaging character who keeps you kind of held on the entire time, like the story could be, I don't know what tier of like bad to really good it would have to be before I was like, I'm no longer interested in this, even if the character was still strong. But I think that's the whole point. You can never really have a bad story when the character is engaging, So, and not to question the story of Odyssey of Fire. I think it's a fantastic story with or without Noah. Like it just moves at such a good clip. It has kind of the, like you talked about with Jeff's stuff and the Louis idea of like literary merit of its own, while still having the action sequences still having the quick pace. So that book, if you took Noah out of it, it would still be a really good book, but a fantastic book. Like I don't want to diminish the book at all, but having Noah in there makes it perfect.
What you said was perfect, though, of like the character driving the story. I think that's the greatest point. Is like, to me, there's something that like a concept to me that I talk about is like the internal steersman, that people like, as you mature, you get that. And it's like the ability to look ahead and kind of like plot your life out rather than just living in the moment. Like when you're younger, it's just hedonism and I just care about right now. And like, I don't really think about 5 years from now or anything. And so in Fire in the Tall Grass, like he's the archetypal hero at that point. He's got the inner steersman. He knows exactly what he's going to do. And so it's very like beelined. This, I know what I want, and I'm going to go get that. And this, no, it doesn't have that in the beginning. It's like him gaining that inner steersman throughout the story. So at first, he's just fair blows the wind, baby. Where are we going? Like, it is just dictated by the character. But I'm excited for everybody to check it out. Hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. But then we have another super sick kind of period piece thing coming out from our very own Terrence, dude. You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, we should definitely say if you don't follow him, start following Terrence on Instagram now. First of all, he's been making fantastic reels, fantastic content left and right. And he's seeing great results from it, dude. He's killing it in the Instagram game. So good work, Terrence. But he also may have something. He's dropping kind of stuff here and there about Thorn, which is fantastic, and it comes out I think March 9th off the top of my head, which I'm pretty sure is
such
correct.
a good time for it to come out too, dude. Like I think it it's just such a fun kind of like feel good swashbuckler. It just makes me like feel young again. You know what I mean? Like it makes me just alive, just like spring does. Like it has that spring feeling to it. So I'm excited that it's coming out, not like in the middle of like February or December or something. Like it's coming out in a good time. So I
start of the new year of life,
right, of the new adventure of like the spring coming back, because it's oh man, it's what I wanted. It's like a dark, not darker, but like it's a, to me, what I didn't like about Princess Bride, only seeing it as an adult, okay, so don't hold this against me, people who were like, it's the greatest movie of all time. I only saw it as an adult, and I was like, this is a little too goofy for my taste. It's okay, I love it. It's got a great sword fight, but too goofy. And Thorn was like, it had that vibe of like just classic storybook stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Deadly serious edge, and I was like, I love it. I love this, dude. So, Terrence is crushing it.
I agree. I remember reading it and thinking like, immediately being transported to the Robin Hood vibe, but also like there's the Baroness Orzi's, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It's not the Continental Op. It's the guide. Dude, Terrence is gonna kill me because he loves this character.
Nacho Libre?
No, dude. It's the Scarlet Pimpernel, dude. I was about to say the red devil.
The red guy.
Scarlet Pimpernel. Sorry about that. I have a massive aneurysm there. I'm surprised we made it, so we're going to make it through the rest of the episode. There's scenes in that, I think, where they're in like taverns and stuff like that. And there's scenes in this one, I think I talked about it before on the podcast, this one Louis L'Amour short story that's in the adventure stories, and it has the swashbuckling flair. And there's scenes of them in the tavern and a character trying to kind of like, you're not sure who he is until the last line of the whole entire story. It reminds me of stuff for like Treasure Island, which I don't think I've ever read the actual Treasure Island, just the great illustrated classics, but it starts with them in the tavern and there's all this tension building. And so there's something that a formula he found that was just perfect. And it really did immediately transport me back to like, because there's little flavors of Zorro in there as well. There's flavors of Robin Hood. It's just so much fun. And to that point you brought up earlier, it's fun and lighthearted while still maintaining high stakes, dark takes. Like it's just fantastic. So super excited about it. Yeah, it makes me excited for like It's not sword and sorcery for sure, but it's kind of set in that medieval time where it could lend itself to falling into that genre and starting like more sword and sorcery coming out. It makes me want to write, because I write a swashbuckler with Jock, but it makes me want to write something set in that time period, of like
knights,
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? We'll see. It's super cool.
He used a real buckler, dude. In the story, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point.
That's amazing.
The swashbuckler, dude, fantastic.
Swashbuckler broke out the buckler. What? Yeah. Pause here for real quick, because I have to tell you. I mean, this is not like roasting my friend Caden. This is just what it is. What it is. I just couldn't believe it, dude. He didn't know who Zorro was. Could you?
That is crazy.
I guess we're just so insulated in our little world of men's adventure fiction, but like, I thought that was like everybody knew Zorro.
A household name.
Yeah, well, I was like, he played Zorro. We were talking about Alain Delon. He was like, who is that? And I was like, he played Zorro. And he was like, who's Zorro? And I was like, I don't know how to answer that question.
If you don't know who Alain Delon is, all right. If you don't know who Zorro is, that's too far. You can't do both of those things.
So now we're not friends. Just
I
just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I feel like I went as Zorro once for Halloween when I was probably in like later high school. And everyone was like, oh, you're the Princess Bride guy. And I was like,
Yeah, dude.
No,
No.
I'm not the princess peg. You're offending me right now. We're having issues. Oh, I
Have you
never
seen
hang
that
out with
cat?
those people again. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I agree. I remember maybe it's just my mom was the one who told me about Zorro. She used to love
Hmm.
watching him as a kid, which just goes to show you that the genre, like it's men's adventure fiction because it's written specifically for men, but everybody loves it, dude. It's not
Right.
just for the men, but for the women and the children too.
And it really goes back to just their. I mean, this is the same reason Casey's like Terminator. Who?
Yeah,
What's
who's
that?
the
And
heck's
it's
the
like
Terminator? That's crazy
Casey.
stuff, dude.
It's because that like when they grew up, dude, they it's an awesome thing. They didn't have, oh, they had a TV. They just didn't watch TV ever. They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
really play games
That is
ever.
a good
Like
problem to
they
have.
were just, they were just go outside, that was their childhood.
Uh-huh.
So it was fantastic. But now it's led to a huge gap. And I'm like, bringing up any character ever. And they're
Yeah,
like, I don't know what you're talking about. And nor do I care. And I'm like, oh, thanks. that's,
yeah, dude.
that's
Well,
awesome.
that's how I felt. My brother and sister in law had the Grammys on when we were over at their
Yeah.
house the one time, and they were like, people were coming up, and I was like,
Who's that?
seeing names flash across the screen, and I was like, "Is this that person?" And everybody started laughing at me. I was like, "What? The name's on the screen and the person's on the screen? Like, what am I? I don't know what it's all about." Because I just couldn't care less about that sort of stuff, you know.
Right.
And it's to your point of like, it's a good thing to some degree. It is good, but it's also like, it does make you a lot harder to have a conversation with,
That's
especially
why
if
it
they
was
don't
so
know who
cool when we
Zorro is,
finally,
dude.
dude, when we finally met each other, it was
Yeah,
so cool to have like you have a way deeper knowledge than me. I'm like Caden to you, and then, but it was so
that's
nice to
so
have
true.
that, be able to have that dialogue, and then of course we
Yeah,
started this and meeting everybody on the Discord. It's so cool to
I
actually
know.
insulate yourself in that world of people who do know it. It's super cool because
Right,
then you get
dude.
really deep conversations in it. But I thought
Yeah,
that
and
was
you
funny. I
can
had to bring that up. I was like, you don't know Zora, bro? What are you doing?
you
And then
can
he tells
prep.
me to watch Suits, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch Suits, dude.
Suits is
Go
pretty
watch
good.
Zora. No.
Not as good as Zorro for sure. Which is funny though because I think Suits and Zorro definitely inspired Terrence's One Man Treasure to
Yeah, dude, he
tie it
should read.
back
I
into
should give him
Terrence.
that. I should be like, here,
Which is pretty funny.
read this.
Yeah, you like Suits? Read this guy. Um, yeah, fantastic stuff. And what's super exciting though is not only do we have those three things coming up, we also have more stuff from the Jeff man, the Terrence man, and you and me, dude. Right on the heels of that, which is fantastic news. We've talked about it before. The Veritas double, still workshopping the name. We're
Yeah,
getting
we're gonna do
close.
a channel, don't you worry. But
Yeah.
we want to bring back that concept of the two stories
Oh
together.
yeah.
It's so, I mean, it's just so. There's something classic about it, man. I
Right.
don't want those to be left behind. I mean, they're killing mass market paperbacks now, right? So this is
Yeah,
like
dude.
something that's been dead way longer than that. But we're gonna bring them both back. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. Don't worry
Like
about
we're gonna bring that back. So I was super excited. Me and can I say what me and the Jeff man are doing?
it. Yeah, dude.
All right.
Lay it on the people.
So Jeff Bendabona and myself are gonna do a Western one. So I'll write a Western. He'll write a Western. Both will be in the paperback that you can have and read and enjoy. And then do you want to tell them what you and
Yeah.
T Man are getting up to?
I think we don't want to overshare for
Mhm.
our partner author, but if you want to tell them a little bit about your plot, as bare bones or as in depth as you want to, you definitely can.
I'll say what I'm trying to go for, man. Is like
I'm
I
super
want to
excited
make
about
like a
this one.
riverboat Western type of situation.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like riverboat pirates, riverboat captain,
Oh, yeah.
Western. That's my vibe for this one that I'm
Which is super
setting
exciting,
up.
dude. That's something that we don't talk about enough. Is I remember growing up. I think I talked about it before on the podcast. The River Driver shirt from LL Bean, which is like it's cotton on the inside and then it's got wool on the outside, and it's like
Mm.
I think it's some sort of really high quality wool because it has a little bit of stretch, or maybe they add a tiny bit of elasticity of some kind in there.
Yeah.
But it's made so because since wool doesn't lose its heating properties when it's wet, it's made for people driving stuff down the river, dude. And I remember some of my favorite episodes of TV of all time where like there was a Daniel Boone episode where he had to face the river pirates. There's Louis L'Amour stuff that kind of deals with it. And it's just so sick because you also have the side of like the riverboat gambler guys, which
Yeah.
Yancey Derringer does, where he's in the tuxedo on the casino riverboat, going down the river. So the the whole like it's such a crazy microcosm because you have the sickness of pirates in general, which I really
Yeah.
love that whole time. But the thing that always gets me with pirates is like those boys were out to sea, getting from one side of the ocean to the other for like what 3 months or something like that. That's a lot of
Big old
space to
journeys.
try and fill in writing a story where it's like, ah, yes, and then I ate hardtack and went to sleep and sucked on a lemon so I didn't get scurvy. And then the next day I ate hardtack, sucked on the lemon, and then didn't get scurvy. And maybe I did one or two push-ups. Like it just seems very hard to work through
One
that.
push up.
Usually, dude, they can't expend too many calories. They just have
So
hardtacks. Usually, you'll get some sort of mutiny kind of story, I think, which is how they deal with the long journeys. But dude, the microcosm of the river where you have like the same sort of energy of like swashbuckling vibes and you're still going and finding lost like unknown places or going into hostile territory while still carrying shipments of stuff. And then dude, there's the ever-present threat of the river pirates. Oh, it's just so sick.
it is
So
a
sick.
cool vibe, man. It's also like you said. There's some episodes here and there. It's one I just don't see enough, man. I want.
Right.
So I'm trying because I mean, I, there are classic westerns everywhere, and
Yeah.
they have been done better than I can do them. So I want
Oh,
to try to do something that's
that's
like
not true.
I want to do something that's a little bit
Yeah, dude.
feels fresher for me, you know. So I'm doing
Well,
something that's cool for me.
that is fantastic, and I'm super excited about it because I love, like we just talked about. I mean, I don't know how long I just talked about riverboat pirates, but I'm
It's
I'm
good
super
stuff.
pumped for that. So yeah,
How about
Eh,
for yours, my friend? What are you and
we
the team
also
at?
know we have a little bit of information. I don't want to say anything about Jeff's, but you should become ultra excited about Jeff's as well. So super
Yeah,
cool stuff.
we'll let him
Yeah.
talk about it. We can bring it up with him when we talk about
we
it.
we won't speak out of turn. But yeah, me and Terrence are going to be doing kind of a crime focused one. Now,
Heck yeah.
I am very excited knowing what Terrence has in mind. It's one of my favorite. It's something that I don't even think that I've processed as one of my favorite subgenres. But the more that I thought about it, well, there's stuff that happened in recent Nate Cult stuff that made me realize how much I love it. I'm watching Better Call Saul on TV, and I love it. And so for Terrence to be behind the wheel on a story like this has me super excited because it is the subgenre that sneaks its way into so much of everything else that I love. But I'll digress. I can't say any more than that. But I'm excited for it. But for me, I'm doing I was thinking long and hard about this, and then finally the code cracked. It was right after we did our episode, I think last week, where we talked about staying off your phone, redeeming the time, working on trying to get your mind going again. And so I was thinking, I had no idea where to take this. I had like a basic idea. I wanted to bring back Sal Coltolino, who's in Fighting Heart of Man. He's in Timber and Smoke issue 1, and he's in the East Germany assignment short film. Super cool guy, but he's a mafia dude, and I didn't want to do kind of your derivative mafia thing that he's in one city the whole time. He's doing all sorts of like classic mafia stuff. I wanted to add something a little more. So this one is going to turn Sal kind of into an international mafia enforcer, and he's going to get caught up in the middle of some crazy stuff that's going to tie into his time in World War One and may tie into the larger Veritas arcs that we have flowing through stuff. So I'm pretty excited for it. It'll have
Bro, which actually brings me back to Odyssey of Fire will have some
yeah,
to do with
dude.
this, right? Like
There's definitely some
the
cool
universe is
stuff
tying
going on.
together and there's some threads that are in there, which is super cool.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you kind of have to hold on for because it's the building blocks are being set in place now. But
Yeah.
there's stuff in Crime is My Caper, there's stuff in the Heart of Alexandria, there's stuff in Odyssey of Fire, multiple things in Odyssey of Fire, right? There's two.
There's also multiple things in Heart of Alexandria, if you think about it. Like that
There
one
are,
is
yeah,
a big
for
one.
sure.
A
Yeah,
huge one
that's
for
kind of
the
where it all
Veritas
gets started.
universe. Yeah.
There's stuff in Fighting Heart of Man. It's all coming together. So you gotta keep your eyes peeled. And even there's stuff within Jeff's stuff that references other stuff. So it's fantastic. It's really cool. So if you're I mean, even by Pulp Fest, things may be fleshed out a little more in a way that's like, oh, damn, like things are actually starting to cook here. This is crazy. So I'm really excited about it.
The Pulp Fest table is going to be awesome this year. We got to have you there.
It will be really cool.
Have you there. It's going to be so cool. I just picture all of it there. We're going to have like the little red, the red yarn connecting all the books.
With the pins in the wall.
Yeah, dude.
And speaking, I guess we can give a little bit of an announcement here. There's going to be some showings of Veritas short films at Pulp Fest, which is super exciting. We're still finagling the time. In fact, we got to get back in touch with them over there to make sure that we're giving them the information they need. But I'm pumped, dude. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be
a multimedia
Fest,
Veritas Pulp Fest, dude. Shoo.
You guys got to come out for it. We can meet in person, have these conversations, smoke a little cigar in Pulp Fest, get kicked out,
exactly,
get handcuffed.
It's the perfect. It's the crime is the secret ingredient.
Yes. Well, it is my caper after all. So we will see. It's gonna be a fun time. Yeah, dude, Pulp Fest can't come fast enough. Let me tell you, I'm excited.
Which on the table probably will also be the top 4 men's adventure fiction May submissions, which I think we got a little bit of an announcement to make here about that. Should we lay it on them, dude?
We should. There's a big announcement.
All right. For first place, the winner is going to get,
dude, 500 buckaroonies. 500 buckaroonies to you, first place winner.
That is awesome.
Yeah, this is definitely a jump up from last year. As far as that goes, we're trying to up the stakes, as much as we can. We want to keep giving you guys the prizes worthy of your efforts, worthy of the sweet stories you're bringing in. But first place is 500 buckaroonies. What's second place getting, my friend?
Second place is 200 buckaroonies, which is 200 awesome. We wanted to inspire people to fight for the first place, but we also wanted to give them, $200 is a
nice
good,
stuff, dude. I want $200. Give me that.
I know, I'm right there with you. And for third place, they're going to get
100 buckaroonies, dude.
There we go.
Still,
dude.
100 buckaroonies right now for me. You know how many books I could buy with that?
Yeah,
especially if I go to my half price books.
I know. Dude, tell me about it.
I'm getting a 2-year supply based on my reading pace.
Or even the $100 is probably enough to go to like Fogo de Chao by yourself and get unlimited steak, dude. That's pretty good.
That's sick.
And then fourth place will get $50, which is still awesome stuff. That's
I'm excited about that.
5-pack of cigars, a new pipe or something like that.
Maybe a premium cigar, dude. If I go in and get one of the $50. Do they make? I'm sure they do, right? $50 cigars.
Yeah,
is that like how uncommon or common is a $50 cigar?
With the way taxes are, it's becoming more and more common. But usually it goes from like 20 is as high as it'll get for like 25 maybe for really good stuff, and then it's a big jump and you can buy like $100 cigars, and then it gets even more crazy from there. But just 50 is kind of rare, although I think there's some padrones that are $50. Okay. But if you get fourth place, you can buy yourself one of those bad boys.
Okay.
And all of these will be published. It's not like you just get the money and then we take your stuff. Like you will be published, and it will be the classic. The Veritas contracts will all be worked out, and you'll be a published author, which is exciting because you'll be published with the same house that publishes L.S. Goodish, the most famous guy of all.
God, you son of a...
We always got to bring it up. But seriously, we talk about it all the time, but not enough. One of the best parts of Veritas is the team that comes together.
Yeah.
And it really is. Yeah, it really is Veritas. When you publish with us, you have 25, 30 other authors who are promoting their work, which is in turn promoting your work. So when you promote your stuff, you're promoting them. When they read something from you, they read the 4 men's adventure fiction May winners, they're going to be like, oh man, those are great. What was last year? And they're going to go read all of the men's adventure fiction May submit, the ones that made it through the list, and they're going to read everything that's been written, and they're going to realize that this is where it is all about, which I think gets us right into another discussion that we kind of want to touch on about the loss of the mass market paperback.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. I can't believe that.
Well, it's crazy
I love that version of books.
You even have like
version.
like you've got our stuff for sure, but I mean, this is like one here. It's the really big boys. This is
Yeah.
the this is a double, the Louis L'Amour doubles, where they do Radigan and North to the Rails, and
Oh,
they
that's
do them
cool.
in one set. Yeah, but that's like I was thinking about that too because I've got a because we were been talking about it in the Discord, and it's kind of like, oh, it wasn't it dead already? And it's like, no, it wasn't dead already.
No, they were still making them for sure. It took
Yeah.
like a year after the release, I think, and then they would do them. But
Yeah, dude.
you get them, you know.
Yeah, it's just so depressing.
Oh, it's
but
depressing because Jack Carr. Like I'm currently, I'm
Yeah,
currently
dude.
reading Jack Carr's stuff, and every time I like getting the mass. I'm not. I don't. I have the hardcovers for a lot of them, like the first edition hardcover. I do not want your like trade paperback or whatever it's called. I
Right.
don't want that.
right,
Get it away from me. I
Right
always
there
wait for
with
the
you.
mass market. And now there's not going to be one, dude. I have all these mass markets of the originals, like the first couple. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
dude, that's a good
So now I
point.
can't follow up. I can't be a completionist, dude.
Right? You can't
That's
have.
horrifying.
You're gonna have the thing that just absolutely drives so many people crazy. Where it's like
Yeah.
books 1 through 5 are same size, and then 4 through 10 are just or 6 through 10 are all different sizes. That'll be
Dude, when I
devastating.
started making mine like that size,
Uh-huh.
people got so mad because my first two were not that size.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm intentionally severing ties with that part of my career, dude. That is
Here it is.
old. That is old to me. I don't want to keep
This
doing
was
that.
the
Yeah,
new
dude, Piper, that was the
Stars
one.
Vipers, dude. Fantastic.
But
Yeah,
that is definitely the size you got to go with. I love that size.
it really is. And I think that this will springboard us into kind of a bigger discussion of just how, I mean, that literally seems like proof that the big publishers don't care about male readers anymore. But we also got to highlight some other guys who are writing with the mass market paperbacks, which is Honor Among Thieves by L.D. Whitney.
Yeah, how good that cover is.
I know,
Look
dude,
at it.
it ain't right.
Look at it. Look at it, dude. It's beautiful.
What I particularly like is like the detailing on the horse. I mean, the whole entire thing is fantastic, and I probably like the guy with the gun more than I like the horse. But when you look at the horse, dude, you can see like the muscles rippling from
Yeah.
the motion, dude. It's so sick, fantastic. I love it. So there's people that are still doing it, and he actually has a whole thing on Substack. LD does of a list of guys who are still producing the mass market paperback. But it just seems like, I mean, these literally, let's see, I'm wearing a jacket here. How many of these guys can I get in? Even the big, chunky guy fits right in the
Right.
pocket, dude. It's disrespectful. Like, I guess that's the whole idea is that they're turning it away for the Kindle and what you can have
Yeah,
on your phone.
audiobooks are like the biggest, highest growing part of the market, and then you got the ebooks. It's like that's where they're going. That's where they're putting their time and attention.
It's so depressing too, because I mean, you think I told you that I was in New York City and I saw maybe two people on the subways reading books. It's like, man, if they're now stuck with big old boys, that's going to be a task to take that to work with you. You're going to have to make, like, if you got one of those messenger bag type of guys that you carry your laptop in or whatever, you're going to have to take out everything else to fit a big book in there, like it's just not right.
And we certainly can't talk about this on this episode. We'll do what we need to do on the back end and bring it up for an episode soon. But I'm happy that you and I, Nathaniel, recently spoke about how I'm hopeful that we have something planned that will bring this to the new generation as something they'll remember growing up with. And then it'll be like resurged back. I think we're going to resurge this back into the culture and the zeitgeist of making this a thing. And yeah, dude, we got to get this next generation. I think they're realizing like, man, my phone, I'm on this thing too much. Like they are waking up to that idea. And you give them the right tools, you give them the right stuff to set them up with success and get them back into this kind of reading. It'll be almost like a literal pulp revival, like a literal revival of that time period where the doubles were a thing, the magazines were back.
Yeah, dude.
Like the mass market size is a thing. People are throwing them in their back pocket, choosing a little Veritas book rather than their phone on the train.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful. We've got some stuff.
Not that I feel like we're getting to a point here where it's like the way that it was with cigarettes, which I don't know that I like that cigarettes have been so ultra vilified. And I think Matt Helm always would say anytime they gave Matt Helm a drug case, he would be like, if people want to like ruin their lives, why are you using government resources to stop them? Like, can't they just do that? And it was always funny because he would never get fired up about fighting the war on drugs. He'd always be like, I'm not going to go risk my life so people can not do drugs. Are you crazy? Like, if they want to do drugs, they're going to do drugs. So I digress about the cigarette stuff, but I wonder if there is going to be a shift where, like, you see somebody on their phone, it's going to be the same way that you feel when you see someone smoking cigarettes.
I think you're right. Yeah.
That's really bad for you, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Which is super interesting. And to that point, I mean, you may be onto something where you're saying like the revival is coming, where you might be right, dude. I feel like the way that we're getting there, where everyone is kind of, you see people posting on social media all the time about like the one ingredient foods where it's just like a steak, and then you add the extra stuff, or it's just salmon, or it's just potatoes, or whatever it is. It just has the one ingredient on it before you make it. And it's the same sort of thing, dude. Like, oh, I'm on my phone too much. Lucas from Broadside Visuals posted something yesterday, or maybe it was his wife Libby, that it was like, you wake up in the morning, you get on your 6.7-inch phone or screen to figure stuff out. You get to work, you work on that 16-inch screen for 8 hours to do that. You get home, you relax at a 55-inch screen to do that. You go to bed and you read something on your 6.7-inch screen, and then you sleep. And it's true. Like, we are literally just glued to the screen, which is, I mean, I was reading that yesterday. That was literally last night that he posted that. And I was like, get this thing away from me. Which is so tough, because it's like, I'm not going to write my books by hand and then try and transcribe them by...
Get the typewriter back out.
That's not it.
Oh, no, I made a mistake. Go white out. Oh, shit.
No chance. So you were going to say?
I was going to say that's kind of an analogy I've been trying to like really reinforce in my own brain, is if I'm looking at a screen, dude, and it should feel... I should feel like it is. I'm looking at like a laser beam, dude. That's just like carving away my brain. I think I might have brought this up, but
no,
then if I'm looking and if I'm looking at a book or something, that should be like it's scrubbing clean all that damage, dude. And it's like healing me. I should feel repulsed, like by the phone. The more I'm just staring like a dum dum at it. And dude, tying this back to men's adventure fiction, so we don't get too lost in the weeds.
Right.
Gabriel Bassos is his name, right?
Yeah, dude.
Night Agent.
Yeah, dude, that guy's sick.
He had an interview, dude, where he talked about how he doesn't like phones because he thinks about if you went to like the medieval times and some sorcerer gave out some kind of like weird pad that like hypnotized people to just walk around and stare at it all the time. You'd be like, "What? Get that guy out of here!" Like that
kill him.
This has a problem. Like that. He's like, it's weird that we just like took this spell and we're all just like doing this. And I was like, that's a really great point. Like, it's a freaky thing that is happening, that we're all just like literal zombied to our phone all the time. And it's like, if you took that to the Middle Ages, dude, and it was some kind of spell put on you, you would realize that's not good. But right now, since it's an algorithmic spell that you're choosing to opt into, it's like we don't see it as much, but I think people are starting to see it. It's like, that's why my one random video went viral, is because it was talking about that exact same thing. I think it's such in the zeitgeist right now, as people are like, ew, something's wrong with my brain. I don't like that. I need to stop this. Like, well, I think we're all realizing it.
Yeah, dude, that's a really good point.
Gabriel Bassos, dude, we got to get that guy on the podcast.
That's the man. Crazy. He is the man. He's super cool, and his commitment to the craft of learning the stunts and gun manipulations is just fantastic. He's really cool. I'm excited for that's next season to come out.
That's got to be soon, right?
Yeah, it's got to be in the next couple weeks, which is super exciting. Because great show, great dude. He's one of the, like we talk about a lot, there's a lot of leading men that you're kind of like, what is your goal with your career trajectory? It seems like it's all over the place, sort of willy-nilly. So to see someone who's like committed to being a cool guy, where he's just like, he is just a stud. And when he had an Instagram, following him there and seeing how he was like, he was there to act and to play roles and to entertain people. And he was not there for fame, and not there to kind of just be better than anyone. His goal was to be like other people. just be a normal guy who he was super passionate about, like, don't worship me for being a good actor.
Right.
Like, you're the real guys who are doing the real stuff. I'm just pretending to be you. Like, I'm here for entertainment purposes only, which I thought was really cool.
I was gonna bring up that same thing. He's so cool for that. He's like,
Yeah.
people look at me and then it's like I just say lines on like relax, you know.
Right. I'm not that important. But it makes all of this conversation makes me think a lot about more of like, now is the chance to go out and have adventures, to go out and read in the woods, go out and sit by a stream and pull out your favorite mass market paperback, hold them close to you because you never know when you're going to lose them. I mean, literally they're gone, but not from Veritas. They'll never be gone from Veritas. And there's the other publishers who's bringing the heat with them, like we talked about. But all of that really is to say, like, it fires me up to go out and do more adventurous things, to find time to climb cliffs, to hunt around the city for a cool place to do parkour, to do whatever it is, go to the local coffee shop, get a coffee, sit out there, smoke a cigar on their patio or whatever it is. Just like live life to the full, because you don't know what it is. Like, I mean, it's just crazy that you're sitting there spending so much time on some sort of device. Like, even when you were talking about like the laser beam idea, when I'm sitting here looking at you on my screen, I was like,
dude, your eyes out there.
Is this the laser beam right here? Am I getting cooked right now? But yeah, to kind of tie it back into the release schedule, though, it's encouraging because you have all these great books coming out from Veritas. And not only do you have the books coming out, you also have the chance to use the laser beam in your eyes for good and get on there and write your own story to submit for Men's Adventure Fiction May, or even just to submit as like a short story for the collections, or a novella or a novel. Just keep writing stuff and keep fighting to stay present and use the things that, because you can't just get rid of especially if you have any interest in being like an aspiring writer or any sort of filmmaker or anything, you can't just not have a presence on the internet, because that's the main way that people make it these days. So if you were like, yeah, I like it right now, if you, after getting, I mean, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube? Like 67, something like that? 65,000?
67 or 68, yeah.
That's crazy. So if you were like, yeah, guys, thanks for joining me, but in the interest of never being on my phone again, I'm deleting my YouTube. That would be like such a waste, because then you were taking out the ability you have of doing like good things for the world around you. And it kind of gets back to the sort of thing that like the Men's Adventure Fiction guys have to do. There's sometimes you have to do hard things that you don't want to do, that are necessarily like the dirtying of the hands kind of thing, where like we talked about before with the Punisher and Daredevil argument of like, the good guy, it's his responsibility to get his hands dirty to save the other good people, and that's a sacrifice he has to make. So it's the same sort of thing you could think about as you, viewer, are writing your short story or doing research on your phone throughout the day, and you're like, oh man, I shouldn't be on my phone, but it's like the good story that's going to come from that at the end is worth it. Like you got to make the choice of how worth it is. Like if you're on your phone for 33 hours in a 2-day period, like maybe that's not worth it, but at the same time, it's like, you gotta use technology to your advantage. You can't let it just run away with you. So
that intentionality piece, dude, that's what's been helping me recently, is like, before I'm instinctively and impulsively grabbing my phone a lot, because that's just how I've been training myself, Pavlovian instinct the last couple of years. But like, just asking yourself as you grab it, like, what am I grabbing this for? What do I need to do right now? Or am I just bored? And then if I'm just bored, I'm just going to leave it, but if it's like, oh, I needed to text Nathaniel back, or I need to look something up for the book, you're there for a reason. And again, you're kind of hijacking back your attention, using it for what you want to use it for, rather than being like, all right, let me just scroll away some time here. Just asking yourself that quick question of what am I about to do? What do I need to do?
Well said. That's good stuff. I mean, even we had a break earlier in the podcast, and I was like, all right, well, I could just go on my phone while Luke goes and does that. And I was like, no, I'm gonna work on my writing stuff. And for like 30 seconds, I just wrote a little bit. It's like, and that was a rare W. It was just because I was thinking that somehow, so far this morning, I've not checked any sort of social media, and I was like,
That's awesome.
I felt the call of the dopamine to be like, yeah, check to see, because I posted something last night. It's like, see what if anybody's commented or anybody's seen that. I was like, no, dude, I can't do that. So rare W over here. But
Becoming less rare though. You're getting the W's.
Well, I
more
think
and more these days.
Like you said, it's the knowing is half the battle, they always say. And I think you got a really good point there. You got a really good point there about like take fearless inventory, like we talked about before, last week or the week before, whenever it was, where it was like you hop on YouTube and all of a sudden you're watching like 6 YouTube shorts accidentally. Like don't do that. Try not to do that. So pretty cool to have you on this journey with me and to be talking about it. But with your journey that you said you're trying to be a little more intentional with your reading, do you have the next thing lined up? Like, what do you have in mind? How are you kind of navigating that?
Of books that I want to read. So once I finish Bendigo, I'm going to open up that list in my notebook and see which one is like most calling me at the time. What I'm assuming it's going to be is Solo Faces by James Salter, which we talked to you a bit about. But it's like this book about climbing, like mountaineering, I guess, or like alpinisting, dude, whatever. I don't know. It's rock climbing, and it's like really cool. Self-discovery, introspection, finding yourself, meaning of life via climbing type of fiction story.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking it's going to be the next thing I read because I want to get a little bit more over my fear of heights this year. Like I was telling you, like I want to climb, but I'm afraid of heights. I hate them so much. But I think it'll also be like around the time period where I can start to like rappel with Casey and climb a little bit more because it won't be winter. And so I'll be reading it at that time for some motivation. Just like,
dude, that's super exciting. That's super.
What about you? What's on the docket for your reading? Fair Blows the Wind?
I think Fair Blows the Wind. Yeah. The ever-present audiobook stuff. I mean, I probably go through
literally
a 6 to 8 hour book. Yeah. I mean, I have a list of how many things I listened to in January. And this is like the second week. Let me see. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books in January. And I think I've already done 2 or 3 for February, and it's only the 10th.
The 10th, dude?
Yeah, so those just get me through the day. Because I work 10-hour shifts or 9-hour shifts, so 1 6-hour book will sometimes, if I'm listening to music or talking on the phone with anybody, it'll spread between 2 days. But other times, it's tough because there is a finite number of stories out there. So it's always there comes a point where you're looking and fighting hard to figure out what it is. But to that point, I was talking with my wife about Strip for Murder yesterday, as is always the case. There's probably not a week goes by without me talking about that book. That might even be too generous. It may be probably not a day. I don't know. But I was thinking about that, and it was like, dude, is it time to go back in to the plunge and read all 20 of the audiobooks that are Shel Scott? Because it's just so good. I was actually talking with Frank Theodat the other day about there's so many stories that are so bleak and dark, even within the men's adventure fiction mark, of like you have stuff like Travis McGee and even I can't remember the other guy.
Well, I mean, think about like Parker, those kind of guys.
Yeah, Parker is another one. I think John McDonald wrote. There's 2 McDonald guys. One wrote Lou Archer and the other wrote Travis McGee. And both of those guys, like those stories can be pretty bleak. They usually involve some sort of like weird sexual thing that is the base of the plot. And so it's like you read it and it's definitely a good story. And usually the hero kind of comes out on top, but it's still sad. It's a little bit depressing. But then you get stuff like Shel Scott, dude. And it's just, I mean, we read the Richard S. Prather quote about like, maybe this will be a raft or at least a straw in the sea of like really depressing things. And so there's something about that dude that's just, and the reason we actually started talking about that was because he really enjoyed the Doc Veritas story. And he's like, this is funny. Like, this is good stuff. We need more lighthearted stuff. And I think that is 100% the case. So every time that I'm like, what do I read now? It's like, well, should I just read Shell Scott again.
I know, Shell
I love
Scott
that
again.
guy. So
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep reading.
I know, but then you start wondering, like, at what point is reading the same stories too much? You know?
I don't know, dude. I ask myself that about Rocky. I mean, I could
Yeah,
just
dude.
watch that again, though.
That's a good point.
Or just watch all of the Rockies again. Which I'm thinking it is about time to watch all of the Rockies and Creeds again, back to back to back to back to back to back.
That's
In
a
one
glorious
day.
thing right there. In one day, dude.
I
That's
don't know if that's humanly possible.
I always hear people doing the Lord of the Rings extended editions in one day, and those are both like
long.
or all three of those are probably like 3 hours and 45 minutes or something like that. But
You're locking yourself in, dude.
you do have to watch the extended editions because I remember my brother-in-law, he's a huge fan of the Lord of the Rings things, and he somehow found himself watching the regular Lord of the Rings, and he's like, there's probably like 8 to 12 scenes that are really important to the story that are just not in the originals. So, but yeah, I don't think that's as long as the Rocky Creed movies because all of those are like what 2 hour longs. And
they're close. I mean, there are some in the middle of them that are like an hour and a half, but like the Rocky IV and stuff, those are not
that would be a long commitment, dude.
But yeah, 9 of them, like that's a lot of movies, dude.
Yeah, that is a lot. That's a lot.
It'll take a couple weeks.
That's awesome. Cool, man. It's exciting stuff to have all of this new content coming. Like we just talked about, we're both over here burning through pages, wearing out the DVDs of the stories that we love. Yeah. But the good news is there's more stuff coming. You gotta pick this bad boy up before it's too late, dude. To read this before Odyssey of Fire comes out. So that's another one you can burn through. Just read over and over again because it's so good.
Yeah, I'm excited for people to read everything we've got coming out. Jeff's stuff, my stuff, Darren's stuff, your new stuff, the doubles that we're gonna be doing together. Good times. Sick. Good times coming. Pulp Fest table. Can't stop thinking about that. It's gonna be beautiful.
Definitely.
Gotta get this.
Let's take a few minutes and hype Pulp Fest up again. This is gonna be the biggest Pulp Fest of all time. We're just saying it's going to happen, dude. I've got a great feeling about it. It's also probably going to be the widest age range Pulp Fest has ever had, I hope. Yeah. I got a really good feeling about it. There was a bunch of cool people we met last year, a bunch of cool new people who haven't been before coming this year. So we're locked in. Pulp Fest is going to be it. So join the Discord, jump into the Pulp Fest category, and tell us you're coming because we need to know. So I'm super excited about that.
Come hang with us at the table, chat about all these things. I'll force Caden to come so I can show him who Zorro is. Get a little Zorro action. Teach him a thing or two.
Right.
It's going to be a good time. Like I said, it's going to be the biggest one yet because I'm going to bring in lots of people. You're going to bring in lots of people. We're going to have people here hopefully show up, and it's going to be a fun time. And we're not only going to be selling the books there, but dude, the fact that we get to have the showings and watch some Veritas short films and stuff. And we'll probably have some stuff to talk about and show for the feature film. It'll be exclusive to Pulp Fest, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah, dude. It's a good time. Like you said, bring out the sunglasses. The future's too bright.
It's too bright.
Too bright. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us again. We always enjoy it. If you have any interest in supporting the show, we don't have a Patreon, but we do have the Substack. And so you can go over there, become a paid subscriber. You can pick up a book, whatever you want to do. But just a like, a subscribe, sharing it with somebody, that goes a long way. So thank you guys so much for joining us. It's always a blast.
Yeah, thank you guys. Take care.